You're a podcast listener, and this is a podcast ad. Reach great listeners like yourself with podcast advertising from Lips and Ads. Choose from hundreds of top podcasts offering host endorsements, or run a reproduced ad like this one across thousands of shows to reach your target audience with Lips and Ads. Go to lipsandads.com now. That's LIBSYN ads.com.
This is the Washington Times front page for Tuesday, May 14th, 2024. Thanks for joining us. I'm George Gerbo. Donald Trump's one-time attorney, Michael Cohen, testified that the former president played a hands-on role in paying adult film star Stormy Daniels to silence her story about a sexual encounter with Trump. Tom Howe reports Cohen said at one point that he tried to delay payments to Daniels until after the 2016 presidential election. Cohen's testimony was key for prosecutors who accused Trump of orchestrating the Daniels payoff and concealment. Trump is charged with 34 felony counts of falsifying business records with the intent to commit election and financial offenses. Defense attorneys are expected to be tough on cross-examination of Cohen by pointing to his criminal record and personal animus towards Trump. President Biden is announcing a quadrupling of the tariff on electric vehicles from China and sharply increasing duties on $18 billion worth of clean energy products. Jeff Murdoch reports the tariff on electric vehicles will rise from its current level of 25% starting this year. Other tariff increases on Chinese products include semiconductors, lithium-ion batteries, and solar cells. The decision was made after a years-long required review of Trump-era tariffs on some $300 billion of Chinese imports. White House officials say the action combats China's unfair trade practices by targeting strategic sectors that are growing in the United States. A report from the U.S. Institute of Peace says the power vacuum that America left behind in Afghanistan is fueling a resurgence of Islamist terrorists who have the will to target the U.S. Ben Wolfgang reports the study cites the rising threat from ISIS-K, the Islamic State's Afghanistan affiliate, and continued support for al-Qaeda from the Taliban regime as two of the most immediate threats confronting America and its allies. More controversially, the report's authors call on the Biden administration to weigh new rounds of U.S. airstrikes in Afghanistan against terrorist groups targeting America, along with cyber attacks to disrupt communications and propaganda campaigns. An overlooked provision in a bill to reduce credit card swipe fees would crack down on a Chinese company that critics fear has infiltrated American payment networks to mine consumers' financial information. A small provision in the Credit Card Competition Act, Jeff Murdoch reports, requires the Federal Reserve to identify and track payment networks deemed national security risks or operated by foreign entities. That would put UnionPay, a Chinese-owned financial services company, directly in its crosshairs. UnionPay controls 45% of the global market for credit card spending, according to company data, and more than 80% of U.S. merchants accept UnionPay debit or credit cards. Bill co-sponsor Senator Roger Marshall of Kansas said the legislation is set for a Senate vote before the end of the Congress. And finally, a Center for Immigration Studies report calculates that just 46% of immigrants who arrived in the United States in the past 2 years are employed. Stephen Dinan reports some immigrants say they're looking for work, but most, including the elderly, children, and caregivers, are out of the labor force, according to the report. The U.S. had 51.6 million immigrants as of March 2024, up 5.1 million from March 2022, the largest two-year increase in history. Find all today's front page stories at WashingtonTimes.com/front page or on the Washington Times app, and find us wherever you get your podcasts. You can also find us on social media at Wash Times for breaking news, sports, commentary, and more. For the Washington Times, I'm George Gerbo.